Welcome to the Learning Never Stops podcast, where we explore the dynamic intersection of AI, video technologies, and learning in higher education and enterprise. I'm Scott Nadzen from Panopto, and today we're kicking off our first episode of Learning Never Stops with our special guest, Deb Gerritsen, Senior Director of Sales at Panopto. Deb has had a front row seat to seeing video learning expand globally over the past 10 years. Deb's a video enthusiast and a Panopto All-Star. And if you don't know me, I'm the VP of Strategic Communication at Panopto. But don't let that title fool you. I've spent the last 20 years working in the video learning space. I've been a media producer and a technology director at Syracuse University, and I still teach a class at the School of Management at Syracuse University. I've also helped build a video platform, Ensemble Video, that was acquired by Panopto a couple years ago. So video learning is part of my DNA and at the heart of all we do at Panopto. So whether you're an L&D professional, tech leader, educator, AV pro, or enthusiast, this episode will deliver valuable video insights into the origination of Panopto, some of the memorable startup moments, and I hope you'll learn about Panopto's love and commitment to karaoke. I know I really want to understand why customers love Panopto so much and why it has become a key tool for over 11 million users across 60 countries. So let's dive in. So Deb Gerritsen, how the heck are you? Thank you for being here. I know most of the world knows you, of course, especially in the UK and Europe and across the pond, but just in case we don't know you, can you properly introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Deborah Gerritsen. I'm currently the Senior Director of Sales for Panopto. I've been with Panopto from the beginning, but across the pond. I started in our London office in 2012, which Tom Davies set up. I had to give a shout out to the man himself. Before joining Panopto, I was working in Ireland at the time at another startup, but in probabilistic exposure assessment software. I know that was hard to say. I was contacted by a recruiter for the role as the first account manager at Panopto. I flew over to meet the London team of like 4 people at the time in our very small Kentish Town office. Some say sketchy Kentish Town office. I was thinking perhaps this wasn't the right move, but when they showed me the product and the benefit this would have on students, as well as meeting with the global team, I just knew I had to be a part of it. Working at Panopto has been the happiest time of my life. And I'm not just saying that. I love the people I work with. I mean, we go on holidays together. We've been to each other's weddings, and now it's baby season. So that's been really fun. I mean, we've all spent over a decade together. I mean, some are even close to 2 decades at this point. We're really more than just colleagues. We really are friends. Also, we have the best community, period. Our customers are so passionate about Panopto and truly committed to providing the best education to their students. It's a true partnership working with them, and I'm so excited for what the future holds for Panopto and our ever-growing community.
So Panopto began as a startup at Carnegie Mellon University in 2007. Can you take us back to the early days and share how the idea for Panopto first came about and what made you and the rest of the team truly believe?
So I wasn't in the States in the beginning, but I worked closely with our former CEO and co-founder of Panopto, Eric Burns. And I must say, this was a labor of love. He is so passionate about Panopto's, his employees, and what we stand for. He was actually a grad student at Carnegie Mellon when he was tasked with creating a new software to record lectures because, as you know, learning never stops. Little did he know that he would eventually build Panopto, the best-in-class lecture capture and video platform for educational organization. Long story short, Eric graduated from CMU, moved to Seattle to work at Microsoft. Then 2 years later, Panopto version 1 was created and word of mouth began spreading like wildfire. That's when we noticed the incredible value of video inside of higher education. The original team built the foundation of the best lecture capture platform in the world. And I like to give a shout out to the OG4, Beth Bellin, Dave Hannon, Eric Burns, and Rob Toe. Those were the first employees at Panopto.
Those are like the Mount Rushmore of Panopto. And one of the things that I love about Eric is I think he hired so many amazing and incredible people around him. He's a great hirer of people. The growth of Panopto between 2010 to today has been remarkable. And when I think back, we used to be competitors. What were some of the pivotal moments during this period that solidified Panopto's position as a leader in the lecture capture and video platform space?
So in 2010, we were the new kids on the block. We were a very small company with just a handful of employees. But I believe the reason we became the world leaders in lecture capture and video content management is because of how much we cared and we listened to our customers. We started holding regular user group meetings from day one. This was a place where our community could come together and share best practice, trends in the market, improvements in technology, and most importantly, just tell us what they needed from Panopto to better enhance the overall learning experience for their students. We truly owe all our success to our customers. They were so passionate about Panopto and the benefits we brought to their students, especially for equitable learning, that just by listening and partnering with them, we shaped Panopto into the robust, scalable, and most importantly, reliable solution it is today. I want to really emphasize reliability. This is not just a nice to have. Students are depending on us, and we take that really seriously, which is why we put so much time and effort into creating dependable software with unmatched uptime.
As Panopto expanded, what were some of the critical partnerships or strategies that helped drive its adoption across universities?
I think the most important thing we did, and we did this from the beginning, was be hardware agnostic. We were always a software-based solution, which meant we were truly scalable and gave our customers the flexibility to do what they wanted with the hardware in their room setup. What was great is that you didn't have to depend on expensive hardware to use Panopto. We would be used on any device, anywhere, at any time, with or without connectivity. Something I'd like to add is that Oxford, who has a lot of listed historic buildings, it was really, really important to be able to use Panopto without the luxury of having an internet connection. So they really loved our fail-safe recording. So we really are flexible and truly hardware agnostic. So if you wanted to meet accessibility requirements and go campus-wide, you didn't have to spend a fortune in every room for hardware to capture lectures. You could quite literally just use the lectern PC or even your own laptop and webcam. You were good to go. Also, we'll capture whatever you can plug into the primary device, like a document camera. Over the years, we expanded our partnerships to ensure that we were truly hardware agnostic and allowed universities to have the flexibility to design their own room setups without having to worry about Panopto software. Some of our partners have even created dedicated devices for Panopto, like what Matrox and Epiphan have done. I also think partnering with LMSs like Canvas, Blackboard, D2L, and Moodle, as well as unified communication like Zoom and Teams, shows that Panopto is continuing to grow with the needs of the market and ensuring a seamless workflow within their ever-changing learning ecosystem.
Panopto has seen incredible adoption both in the education and enterprise sectors. What do you think the key factors were that made the platform so adaptable?
I think this has to be because we are so easy to use. You don't have to be a technical expert to record, edit, and manage your content. You don't have to have some fancy hierarchy to organize thousands and thousands of videos because Panopto automatically indexes every spoken word and our optical character recognition does all of it for you. This means that you can easily search for any video you have permission to view by just typing a word. It will even take you directly to that point in the video to watch. I know for me this sounds horrible, but sometimes I don't want to watch a 90-minute manager meeting that I missed, even on 2x speed. So Panopto is great for just-in-time learning. I can literally type in a word that's relevant to me, and I can go to every point in that video quickly and seamlessly to engage with the relevant content for me. This saves me so much time. Sometimes I even just type in my own name. Also, a shout out to Panopto for all of our GDPR training. It was an absolute lifesaver to ensure we understood the changes with GDPR in Europe, and it made it so easy to revise for our tests. I really don't know how any organizations do this without Panopto.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was one of my fun facts today is that Deb searched for herself inside of Panopto, and my guess is in Google as well. When COVID-19 hit, there was an unprecedented surge in demand for video learning tools. How did Panopto manage this explosive growth? And what were some of the challenges you faced during this critical time?
I am so proud of Panopto during this time. Our cloud grew by over 1,000%. This type of growth was unprecedented, period. And I can confirm we maintained our uptime of 99.9%. I believe we were one of the only companies in our space that kept their SLA uptime. I'm going to speak on behalf of our EMEA customers here. This is where I was located at the time. I am very proud of our response to COVID. When the rest of the world, and by world, I mean people not using Panopto, were in total chaos on what they would do when campuses were unceremoniously closed and some students couldn't go back even into the country, our customers did not miss a beat. All our customers, including the likes of Cambridge and Oxford, immediately went fully online with Panopto at a drop of a hat. At the next user group meeting, which was delayed over a year, obviously, we all talked about how everyone was so prepared because of Panopto. We all gave each other pats on the back for the fact that, especially in the UK, none of our students were disadvantaged at this time. Some joke, like Newcastle University, that they were preparing for this over a decade.
Now, Deb, the one question I have for you is, for some of our listeners, what is EMEA?
Oh, it's Europe, Middle East, and Africa.
Thank you, Deb. So I can relate to this. Startups often have unexpected, comical, or even chaotic moments. Are there any amusing or memorable stories from the early days of Panopto that stand out for you?
Yes, so many, Scott. So we had offices in Seattle and Pittsburgh. We then expanded into Europe, which is when I started. So I do have a funny story about our first office in Kentish Town. I would try to explain where this is, but luckily Taylor Swift's favorite kebab shop is in Kentish Town, so now people actually know where it is. But for those of us who aren't Swifties, Kentish Town is next to Camden. To make a long story short, we were like not even on the high street. We were like some beaten path in a residential area. I know when I first flew over to London for the interview, I was like, what in the world is this place? Is this someone's house? Anyways, if you want to talk about commitment, all the London-based Panopto employees, we put our lives at risk every time we went to the office climbing those stairs of death, which we affectionately refer to them as. They were rusty and full of holes. However, they were still a better option than the murder elevator. I never saw anyone take this lift. This is a huge difference from today, where Panopto EMEA is based in Old Street, which is like the Silicon Valley of London, in this beautiful high-rise with a rooftop garden.
AI plays a huge role in Panopto's capabilities today. How did AI-driven features evolve within the platform? And what impact do you think AI has had on transforming video learning?
I am passionate about anything that makes education more equitable. This is my favorite quote about AI, and I think it sums up everything perfectly. This quote is from the Harvard Business Review from Professor Karim Lakhani. Just as the internet has drastically lowered the cost of information transmission, AI will lower the cost of cognition. I think AI is an important tool to enhance the overall student learning experience. We've just released Access AI for Panopto. Although we've always been using AI, which is evident by our Smart Search, which we've had for over a decade now, learning never stops, which means we're always innovating based on the needs of our community, trends in the market, and improvements to technology. So we will continue to improve our AI offering. For now, I'm super excited for our automatic language detection and the automatic summarization of not only the video, but literally giving you the top 3 takeaways. I'm also so excited about the future improvements we plan to make, the automatic creation of quizzes and smart grading. I see those both being a huge benefit to not only the students, but the teacher as well.
Looking back at Panopto's journey, what moments or decisions are you most proud of? And how do you think they shaped the future of video learning?
One of my proudest moments came when the head of TEL for a very large university reached out to me to thank me personally. Her daughter went to another university in the UK where they are opt-out and automatically record all lectures. I'm talking from large lecture halls to seminar rooms, everything is automatically recorded. Her daughter became ill and was hospitalized for over a month and was unable to attend her classes. But luckily, everything was automatically recorded, so she was able to keep up with all of her courses on demand from the hospital and was still able to pass all of her exams. So without Panopto, she would have had to drop out. Her mother thanked us and then encouraged her own university to adopt an opt-out policy as well. This is an important strategy for not only student recruitment, but retention. Life happens. Make policies to record all lectures so that when life inevitably does get in the way, your students don't have to be negatively impacted. We want to see high graduation rates, so we should do whatever we can to help our students through their educational career. I'm also personally very proud of our top 10 use cases. As some of you may know, I was the first account manager at Panopto globally. I wear that badge proudly. I started the survey as a way to better understand how the community was using Panopto so I could share best practice with everyone. The first survey only had 6 use cases that were submitted, which is a stark contrast to now, where last year's survey had like 27 use cases submitted. I have loved seeing our community grow with Panopto and all the new use cases that are created based on improvements to technology and improvements to pedagogy to ensure we're truly staying at the forefront of our students' needs. Lastly, I cannot believe we went from this tiny company with this new technology and, for all intents and purposes, unknown use case with lecture capture to become the world leading video content management system. We have over 11 million learners using Panopto today, and we work with 22 of the top 25 universities in the world, such as Oxford, Cambridge, the National University of Singapore, Harvard, MIT, and Stanford, to name a few.
As we look into the future of video in both education and enterprise, what exciting innovations or trends do you see shaping the next chapter of Panopto's growth?
You may not know this, but virtually every lecture is recorded in the UK so that no student is disadvantaged. And that's been happening since at least 2011. Big shout out to Aberystwyth and Newcastle, which were leading the forefront here in the UK. Now, campus-wide lecture capture, as some of you know, is not something every university does here in the States or in other regions. In my new role in the US, I'm trying to highlight the benefits of recording everything, like they do in the UK. Now, not to generalize, we do have lots of universities in the US already doing this, like NC State, Duke, and UW. However, I'm excited to see this more widespread here in the States, like in Europe. We know from studies that recorded lectures are important to US students. We recently conducted a survey with College Pulse in June of 2024, where they surveyed over 1,500 students from over 1,500 higher eds in the States, where 68% of them said they preferred enrolling in courses that offer on-demand lecture videos for learning. However, only 33% said their institution offered this. Clearly, these are not Panopto universities. Now, I want to compare this to a similar study we did in 2018 with Voxburner that surveyed over 500 students from 135 different universities in the UK, where 92% of the students said they found recorded lectures to be an important educational tool for their learning journey. This higher percentage makes sense since most UK universities have a campus-wide lecture capture system. I recall from a survey that St. Mary University did in Twickenham that in 2018, 93% of all UK universities already had lecture capture in place. I mean, this is well before COVID, and the vast majority of universities already established lecture capture as the norm. With lecture capture, you level the playing field for all students. We are not saying lecture capture is a replacement for in-person learning. Not at all. It just makes sure education is equitable to all students, whether they are neurodivergent, remote, or whatever. We're not asking teachers to change their pedagogy. We're asking them to make their teaching accessible. Since 2011, the number one reason students use their on-demand recordings is to revisit difficult concepts after the class. And next, obviously, is exam revision. That's why you see that huge spike in your analytics right after the class and then again during exam time. And of course, this is also used for accessibility. For students, they only watch 15 minutes of a 1-hour lecture normally. Now, this is not the case for medical students. I think on average, medical students will rewatch their lectures up to 3 times. They always skew the stats because they watch more than students in other studies. But for the most part, it's to revisit difficult concepts. I know the European Accessibility Act of 2019 made some significant improvements to digital accessibility in the EU, and I believe it appears the US is going to follow suit. So I'm excited to see more universities adopt lecture capture campus-wide. It's still the number one use case globally, 12 years in a row for Panopto customers. However, I'm really excited to see this become a norm globally, like in the UK.
So Deb, you're telling me that if you do lecture capture, students will still come to class?
Yes.
Okay, because after all these years, even being in the business for 20 years, I'm still fielding the question that if we capture lectures and record lectures as faculty members, I'm worried that my students won't come to class. So in the UK, students are still going to class, right?
Absolutely. There's been endless studies on this. And what they've shown, actually, University of Kent did a brilliant study. And there's I think Oxford did a whole Mythbusters on this. But students who are inclined not to go to class will still not go to class regardless of lecture capture. But we shouldn't disadvantage students who do need this.
Yeah, I agree with you, Deb. I mean, in my years of teaching, I always feel like there's 10% of students that are just going to reach for the highest grade they can get and do every bit of work. There's going to be 10% that do no work, and then there's a bunch in between. So, Deb, a couple random questions. What's your favorite feature or aspect of the product?
Well, I absolutely love our remote recorders. So that's something I feel really passionate about because it allows teachers to not do anything. You literally can walk in, it's automatically going to start, stop, and upload to that respective course folder, and that's all you have to do. My second feature, which is obviously my favorite, is the search. I'm a busy person. I want to get right to the part of the video I want to watch, and I love that we search for any spoken word, we search for anything on the screen. I mean, we have you completely covered.
Yeah, no, and I can relate to the automagic and simple workflows for a faculty member. As a faculty member, as soon as I get in front of my students, I lose all technical capabilities. For some reason, it just happens. You're focusing on something else. So I agree with you that the remote recorders and automation and automagic features of Panopto make life a lot easier for educators. All right, Deb, so I have a couple other really tough questions. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Okay. I like to sing anything, I am open, but I think if you were to ask my colleagues, they would tell you my favorite song to sing is from My Chemical Romance, Famous Last Words.
Excellent. Would you sing a line for us right now?
No.
What's funny about this is I've seen you all completely embarrass yourselves for hours and hours and hours, but you won't do it live on a podcast. Now, one last question. Explain your undying passion for Disney and how many times have you been there as an adult?
A lot.
A real estimate. Give the people a real estimate.
Well, in my defense, I was in London. I was very close to Disneyland Paris. I can't be held accountable, but I don't know. Between Japan, the US, and Paris, I've probably been 12 times.
So Deb is one of our friends that likes to go to Disney as an adult, and I, as a person who has kids, I've been to Disney, and I love that Deb loves Disney. So Deb, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a great teammate, number one. You've been a great representative of Panopto, and you really are a major force in the business and have helped expand the business globally. So we really appreciate you at Panopto, and I know all your customers love you. So thank you so much for joining us, Deb.
Thank you so much, Scott.
Thank you for joining us today on the Learning Never Stops podcast. I'm Scott Nadzen from Panopto, and I hope you found the first episode of the Learning Never Stops podcast with Deb Gerritsen exciting, and most importantly, I hope you learned something. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share to get access to upcoming Learning Never Stops episodes, including interviews and tours through Duke University, Panasonic's Munich campus, the Norwegian University of Science and Technology, and so much more. Lastly, if you want to learn more about Panopto's AI-powered video platform, head to panopto.com and get in touch. Finally, thank you for spending your valuable time with us. This is Scott at Panopto, where learning never stops.